Hi, my name is Veena Subramanian. I'm from Kerala, India. So my current research is actually focused on a syndrome known as Bloom syndrome. So it is a rare disorder in which people have 300-fold increased risk of getting cancer as compared to that of a normal person. So I'm trying to study what is the mechanism behind that. Why are they more prone to cancer?
Hi, my name is Avijit Sengupta. I'm from Calcutta, West Bengal, India. I'm currently trying to develop assistive technology for the patients who are dealing with the coronary heart disease, particularly a secondary prevention system. And it's a technological development system, and we are thinking of a complementary system for center-based cardiac rehabilitation.
Hi, my name is Arvind Kadan, and I'm from Haryana, India. And my research is focused on understanding how misinformation spreads on social media and how can we design interventions to restrict this spread. So I'm currently working on a project which involves experimental research, and that's how I'm going to understand how misinformation spreads on social media. I think it's mostly fun because we're doing what we like, and it's aligned towards our interests. So I think research is fun.
And the climate is great here in Florida. It's just like, back at home. So that is also great. And USF has like a lot of great opportunities here. Yeah, it's good for research as well as other extracurricular activities. So it's a great place to study.
So I was often asked that am I missing IIT Bombay or not? So the funny part is 5 of our faculty members are from different IITs of India. So in that case, I'm enjoying. I can kind of having an experience of away home kind of experience in USF. So we have a really large Indian communities, right?
Yeah.
And probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest.
And the weather is pretty tempered, and we do enjoy a lot of other extracurricular activities.
Yeah, and they have a lot of activities like for each of the festivals that we have in India. So we get together, have fun, have food, like dance and all that. So it's great.
Moreover, I think the campus is pretty cool. It's pretty big, and you have a lot of nice places to eat and to get coffee. And they have activities every now and then, which involve the students. So I think I've had a lot of fun in the past 1.5 years I've been here.
I think USF is a young university, and it is doing pretty good in that sense. And each year we are improving our rank by almost 2 digits, right?
Yeah.
So it means more exposure as well as more responsibility from both ways.
Right.
So the expectation is getting much more higher as we are improving our position, academic position, and the research position in particular in the US. I'm in market. Academic market.
And I should mention, just to add on that, so we recently, the university achieved preeminence status. So that's another big achievement.
So I heard about Kalam Fellowship. It's like I was looking for a fellowship over here because I think I cannot sustain myself of my own if I have to pay the admission fees and everything together. So I know that the PhD programs are mostly funded by the department or the grant from the faculty members. I come to know about this fellowship from the University USF website, and then I applied, having a thought of just take a chance, no more than that. And very lucky and very happy to get this fellowship, and feeling really honored about to become the first recipient of APJ Abdul Kalam Postgraduate Fellowship. I guess you guys can.
I think I will.
Okay. So I was applying for admissions in universities in US when I found out about Abdul Kalam Fellowship through a website known as Biotechnica. So it's a website that gives you alerts about scholarships and open research positions in universities abroad and back in India. So I found about Abdul Kalam Scholarship, and I was surprised that a US university is providing a scholarship honoring the ex-president of India. So I wanted to take a look at it, and I went to the university website and I saw the details of Dr. Abdul Kalam Fellowship. So I had a chance to meet Dr. Abdul Kalam when I was in school. So he has always been a great inspiration to me, and I thought this will be a perfect match for me if I apply for the scholarship, and I was glad that I got it when I applied.
So the path was much easier for me because Avijit and I work in the same department. So after completing my master's, I was very sure on where I wanted to do my PhD. So USF was my first and final choice. So while I was looking on the funding part of it, I spoke with Avijit, and I came across the APJ Abdul Kalam Fellowship, and I immediately applied. And I was very lucky, very, very lucky to get this opportunity to receive the Kalam Fellowship and join a really awesome group.
Tentatively, based on, it depends on the number of applications the USF received every year. The criteria that the person has to be an Indian citizen.
Yeah, and they have to have a degree from an Indian university.
Indian university. So I think the final list is something like 250, 250 plus students.
Yeah.
I think the number of application is much more than that.
But
so I think since it's across all the departments,
Yes.
And a lot of Indian students are doing PhD over here. So I think the number is much more than 250.
Yeah, it's one for the whole university. So people from, I think, over like 12 or 15 departments can apply for the scholarship, and then only you only have one recipient per year. It's actually a fellowship, so you don't have to teach or work for it. So you get scholarship and your tuition and everything covered for the first year that you get the scholarship for. And for the rest of your years of your PhD research, it is assured that you'll either get a teaching assistantship position or a research assistantship position, so that you don't have to worry about funding for the entire time of your PhD.
So another part is from the student's point of view. Once you receive this fellowship, the expectation is become pretty much higher.
Pretty high.
So the faculty member is expecting you to perform every bit of steps. So that's a kind of a challenge from the student point of view. At the same time,
it is a motivation.
It's a motivation because your name is getting associated with our most beloved late president, APJ Abdul Kalam. So that's a huge motivation.
So I think we get reminded fairly
Couple of
often,
times, very often,
that you've received this Kalam Fellowship. So
you have to perform.
Yeah.
Simple.
So I think since I'm the latest recipient of this fellowship, I think the most important point is to have a clear path in mind and a clear research question. So if you're planning to do a PhD, you need to understand what is your motivation for doing a PhD and what are you going to research on. And it's very important to have that research aligned with your interests, so that you're motivated for the long run. So I think that's fairly important.
And adding on to that, I think like getting the scholarship comes with great appreciation and great responsibility. So you have to be really focused and you have to know what you want to do. Talking from the perspective of my field, I feel like if you keep your research field broadened, and if you're not sure of your interest, then you have the opportunity to come here and try out the research that's going on in different labs and then pick your interest. So, and doing internships and getting scholarships can be an added benefit that will help you get the scholarship,
I think from the technical point of view, I believe having strong recommendation letter is important. So that is one thing. While applying, each of these candidates need to ensure that they have a strong recommendation letter on behalf of their candidatures. And I think
as Arjun was mentioning, clarity is very important. What you want to do and how you want to do it, you should have some clear path in your mind that I want to achieve these things through by doing this. Another thing I think might be the case if the goal is some sort of larger benefit of the community or the society, that sort of applications generally get precedence over the other only scientific achievement thing. So the implication part of your research, how much people will be get affected by your work in what manner, is also kind of can be a strong point for the selection of an application. So this fellowship is applicable for 3 years, 9 months, and but tentatively we are supposed to finish it in 4 years technically. But I guess based on the based on the requirement of publications and the job hunting along with everything, the average period which a candidate take to finish his PhD program is like 5 years. 5 years. Yeah. So so our faculty members generally tend to give an analogy of running a marathon. So you have to keep a pace and you have to keep running. So that is the best analogy probably so far for describing a PhD program.
It's a mix of both. So you have, so I'm in my first year. So I have core classes on statistics, and I have seminar classes on research methods and econometrics for business. So in seminar classes, you basically discuss papers, you understand the methodology, how you write papers, and also how you do research.
So just to touch upon what Arjun said, that we have classes for technical skill development and along with the idea generation, the methodological development part. And the core courses are mostly for the skill development, where the seminar classes are for getting aware of what sort of research is happening all around. So you can come to know what is there and you should not reinvent the wheel again. So, and then after 2 years, we have an examination called comprehensive examination. Once we clear that examinations, we become PhD candidate. But the expectation is like you will also keep doing your research parallelly along with your classes.
Adding on to that, so my coursework is actually, I have core courses in which they teach you basic scientific concepts. In addition to that, we have classes which focus on your writing skills, so that's an advantage. And like Arjun said, we have seminar classes where scientists who are well established come over here and discuss their work every week, so that we can get an idea of the research that is going on in our field, and we get to interact with them and get more ideas. So that is.
Yeah, and just a final addition. So the research work goes on hand in hand while you're doing your classes. So all three of us, we are taking courses and doing research parallelly.
I guess that thing varies from department to department. I'm not sure about I think for Veena's case, I think they have the opportunity to go both to the industry and as well as to the academia. So for our case, me and Arjun, I think our training in our department is to make us academic scholars. So most likely we'll apply for academic positions in other universities after we finish the PhD program. And so start with some sort of assistant professorship positions if we get an opportunity. So that is the expectation and that is the focus for the training. And I think it depends on the department to department.
As for my department, the goal of the PhD is to make you proficient enough so that you can carry out your own independent research by the time you are done with your PhD. So you can either go into a postdoc and then move on to becoming a professor or an assistant professor somewhere, or you could go into an industry setting where you could work on a research wing, or you can do your research in academic setting as well as in industry setup. So it's your choice. You could go either way.
It also depends on your personal motivation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You can complete a PhD and decide to go to the industry or go for an academic job.
So I did my bachelor's in technology, in biotechnology. So I was an engineer with my bachelor's, and I did small research projects as a part of my coursework, which is when I realized my love for research. So I wanted to do something small from my part that had a larger effect on the community as well as people. That is why I decided to switch on to research. And I did my master's in Indian Institute of Science, and my master's was in cell biology, where I worked in a lab which focused on cardiovascular diseases and aging. That is where I got motivated to do my PhD research on a human disease or a syndrome, as you may call it, that has an effect on large number of people. So I thought maybe understanding the molecular basis of these diseases could probably help you find a therapeutic intervention that could make the lives of people better. So that is why I decided to switch my tracks from being an engineer to going on to research.
I think it was, so after spending about 8 years in the industry, I wanted a change. So I was working as a SAP consultant, and it was monotonous to some extent. So my reason for doing a master's was to learn something new, gain some new knowledge, and probably start a new career. So after I came over here, the first course I took changed everything. The first course was on statistical data mining, and while I was doing the course, I was always interested in social media analytics. So I did some work over there, and I asked one of the professors for if I could do. I had an idea on understanding clickbaits. What impacts does it have, and how can we detect clickbaits on social media? And he said, "Yeah, why not?" So we did a project, and that got me interested. Not just because of the topic, but because of the flexibility that research has. You can take a topic of your interest and do research on it. So I think for me, the flexibility part of it, and the other part would be, I was always interested in psychology, although I've done my bachelor's in electrical and I've worked a lot in information technology. I was always interested in understanding how people behave and people's attitudes towards things. So I got this opportunity, this research allowed me to combine these two things together and study them. So that was another important factor.
So in my case, I guess while I was studying in IIT Bombay, I was exposed to certain kind of research and started reading research papers and journal papers. And so design is more of a practicing profession. People mostly don't do research, they do design. They practice as a design as a profession in different companies. But I was kind of interested in using design as part of research. And I got an opportunity to go to National University of Singapore for a project, and then worked on the same project for the next 3 years as a graduate research assistant. And my whole friend circles are PhD students, so I started kind of able to study their life and see, and this kind of triggered me. Oh, they are doing very cool stuff. I can also want to do certain kind of. I can do the same thing, and but I want to taste that. Am I really capable of doing such things? So I stayed there for some time and learned different methodology. Try my hand in small researches, publish a bit. Then I take my leap of faith and join a PhD program in USF. So. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I think I did take a good proper decisions to come to the academia rather than go to the industry. To be very honest, I did. But if I think of multiple parameters, the community, the presence of Indian community, and the tempered weather over here. Apart from that, the cost of studying, and that kind of make a huge impact in my decision making. So I want to do good work, but at the same time I want to do it through my effort, because I cannot spend a lot of money. I was not able to. So that's a big thing. I think it's one of the best value for money university of USA. It's a growing university, and there are a lot of research activities, and as we are jumping 2-digit every year. So I hope very soon it will become among the top 100 US universities, state universities.
And I did apply to a few universities in Florida, but the reason that I chose USF in particular is that it was very well aligned with my research interest. I did talk to some of the professors here, and their research interest really aligned with mine, and I thought I'd be a really good fit here and I'd be able to perform really well if I joined USF. And I think it has been going great so far.
So I think in my case it was fairly simple because I was already working on a research project. And I wanted to continue that in the long run with the professor that I was working with. So I was very clear on where I wanted to go, and I think I made a very good decision. I am enjoying it over here. The research is really cool.
I think the universities and the coursework and everything is more organized here as compared to back in India, and the research environment is more relaxed. I think there is a huge pressure back in India for you to publish and get things done fast. So things are more relaxed here, which will give you the ability to focus and get your work done faster here as compared to back in India. That's the huge difference that I felt after coming to USF.
So I did my master's here, so I think I can probably explain how it works better. So I love the part that you have the flexibility to choose the courses that you want to take. And you also have the flexibility to take courses not just in your department, you can take courses from other departments as well. So if you're interested in, say, if you're doing a master's in business analytics and information systems, and you decide to do something in philosophy and psychology, you can take courses from these departments. So you can structure your masters accordingly. And for PhD, again, it's the same. You can take courses from other departments. So you can, it's more interdisciplinary than it actually is. And I've approached a professor from other departments. They're all very approachable. So I think in general, people are much motivated to do research over here because of that flexibility. And it helps overall as well.
I think Arjun mentioned a great point. I think most of the US universities are offering great flexibilities. In India, one of the biggest challenges that there are certain very strong prerequisites. If you are not clear those prerequisites, you cannot actually, even you are interested, you cannot be part of that thing. For example, my background was chemistry. Since I have not done drawing, so I cannot even apply for a design institute for the master's level. So, and there's a certain very strong stereotype that is still pretty prevalent in India, that you have to be an engineer, you have to be a doctor, otherwise your life is over. So I think universities offer you much broader scope of designing your own career. So you can pick courses from different departments and all. And actually, if you consider knowledge is a graph, you can start from any point. So, which is not still that flexible in India. It's pretty rigid till that time. That means that certain opportunities, certain people, if they are allowed to explore their own work and to design their own career, I think they prefer. That is why they prefer a US university, even it is not that ranked. Another issue is that if you are even from a moderate level US universities, you can still prove your mettle and you can get a decent position. It completely based on your performance and what sort of research output you provide over a period of time. So they are very competitive. At the same time, they gives you enough opportunity. I think that is why one of the reasons people are preferring even mid-range US universities.
Right.
And adding on to what they said, what Arjun said especially, I think the opportunity to do interdisciplinary research is better here as compared to back in India. If I'm doing research in biology and I want to find an engineering application for that, I can do that over here because the faculties are more friendly, and then you can do a lot of collaborative research. So you can get a taste of the different fields that you are interested in. So I think that is more here. That opportunity to do that is better here as compared to back in India.
And it helps a lot if you do interdisciplinary research, because you get to understand different methods used by different departments, different fields, and you also sort of understand it becomes heterogeneous in the sense you get to interact with different kind of people. So it makes the research interesting. So I think our research is not it's not focused just on the US. The research can be applied anywhere. The kind of research that we are doing, you can apply it in the US, you could apply it in India as well. So that ways I think it's global.
I think you mentioned a great point. I mean, so to some extent our education and everything is supported by our country, and how as an individual researcher, how I'm planning to giving it back. So the thing is like that one part is like that Arjun mentioned, that I am doing some research which will affect the global population, not only the developing countries. Apart from that, probably what I am trying to do is more effective for the developing countries than the global countries. So in that aspect, I'm trying to give my country back. I think after honing my skills and qualification, getting the qualifications and getting the training, proper training, if there's an opportunity, I'd like to go back to India and to help my own country, my own to build the reputations and help in the research. So it can be considered as part of a training for 5 years to 6 years. I mean, that is one of the thing. So I think, but this is a great point that how we are planning to give back from the system, from which system we have kind of derived all sort of material over a period of time.
And I think one of the main reasons that I came to US to do my research is to get broad exposure as compared to back in India, get accustomed to better research facilities and cutting edge technologies that are not available back in India. But I feel like coming from India, I think it gave me a strong academic background. So that helps me with my research here. So I think that is great about India, that everybody has great knowledge about whatever research that they are working on. Like, everybody is really familiar with their background. So I think that gives you a great academic standing when you come to US. So after my PhD work is done, I plan to get 3 or 4 years of work experience and go back to India and do my research there. So like Arjun and Avijit mentioned, so our research has broader scope. So it just does not impact people here just in US. It has broader applications. So it has applications to people all over the world. So in that way, I think we are contributing back to the society, and I plan on going back to India and doing my research back there. So, and contribute in my own little way what I can. So good luck to all the students who are applying for admissions here in US. You are welcome at University of South Florida. It's a great place to work and do research. So you are all welcome here. Good luck for your applications.
It's a very nice place. It's a fantastic campus over here. Very multicultural atmosphere. Plenty of sporting options. And I think our university is also trying to raise the grant money for the APJ Abdul Kalam Fellowship. And I think financially it will be much more helpful for the students who are applying for this year, if they get the opportunity, if they get selected. So I think that's a great step from USF world. I think best of luck for all the applicants for the APJ Abdul Kalam Fellowship.
Yeah, like we mentioned, USF has a strong Indian community, so Indian students are always more than welcome here in USF.
So USF has a lot of great programs, masters, PhDs, and there's a lot of opportunities for doing not just research but understanding or broadening your scope in respect to academics. So I think you should take this opportunity, apply to USF, and I can assure you that you will have a great time.